Hello and welcome back. Today's video I wanted to have a little chat about travel and what that looks like and what that feels like and what it can bring up. Now, a little bit of backstory. In 2022 I left my 9-to-5 job, I left my 7-year relationship, I left the town that I grew up in, and I drove out 8 hours away from home. And I had no idea what I was doing. At the time, I'd just booked a hostel for a week, and I did have a job where I was going. And I just want to talk about a little bit of what that brought up and what that changed for me and what doors that opened for me and what challenges that brought into my life, as well as embarking on an international journey, an overseas journey where I've left Australia, and for the past 4 months I've been traveling Europe, which was never a plan of mine. I actually really want and desire to be and go to South America, to be in and go to South America. But this is the opportunity that laid before me, and so I took it. So, when I first left my hometown, I went to a place called Byron Bay in Australia, and for those of you who don't know, it's a very spiritual, new age, open-minded, hippie kind of community style place, where there's lots of different people from all over the world, lots of cultures and languages and things all in the one place. And I stayed in a hostel called a Wake Up. I started to meet people at the workplace I was at, and I started to really feel alive. And I enjoyed it so much, and everything was new and everything was exciting, but everything was also very challenging. It was all new, and sometimes when everything is new and nothing is familiar, things can feel really, really overwhelming. And when you're in a place where you don't know a whole lot of people, it can feel really lonely. And I did find myself quite a few times sitting back and going, oh, what am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing here. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what I desire, what I want, what I need. And I was still in an old mindset, but in a new location. And maybe subconsciously, part of me, I think a lot of people who embark on a traveling journey expect leaving their country or leaving their place of origin and going somewhere else will change everything and will fix everything. And it most certainly doesn't. It does, however, allow you an environment where you can expand. I found for a long while, when I was in my old relationship, in my town that I grew up in, surrounded by people, in a workplace I'd been in for 6 or so years, I found it very hard to grow and to change because everybody else knew me as the person that I was. And so when you try to change something and everybody around you has an idea of who you are in their own mind, it's really hard to embrace new changes and understand and explore what it is that you want, who it is that you are, and, what are the things that you want to do, what are the things that you're interested in, like your interests change, your hobbies change, what you want to do changes, and some of it lasts for a week, some of it lasts for a month, and then you put it down, and some of it sticks. But I find it is not impossible to grow in your hometown, and that's definitely not what I'm trying to say here, but it is challenging. And I think that leaving your hometown opens up many, many, many doors that allow you to grow and change and also heal. I found myself coming to realize, as all of the people that were once my friends, all of the people that I once identified myself with walked away and left and, did whatever it is that they wanted to do, I found myself feeling really lonely, really isolated, and very confused. And it took a little while, but I did begin to learn that for each person that walked out of my life, somebody new had the room to walk in. And I've spoken about this before on my TikTok and on this channel about making room for new and not always knowing what that is. It's the same with people. When people walk out of your life, it is for a reason. Your journey with them has come to a point in which the best thing for everybody is to go separate ways. And that's not to mean that maybe one day you will be friends again. That's not to say that that's not going to happen, but that is to say that allow things to end as they end. Because in turn, you are allowing new things, amazing things, and better things to walk in. New lessons, new people, new challenges, new places, new journeys, all of it. I also found myself, though, as I got to be whoever I wanted to be, really unsure, because I didn't know who I wanted to be. And I had this idea and this belief and this sort of trauma within me that told me that it wasn't safe to try new things, and if you're going to do something, then you have to follow through with it, and all of these old concepts and beliefs and things circling in my mind. But the place that I was in was offering me to be whoever it was that I wanted to be, and I got to explore that, and I started to see what friendships and relationships and places and jobs and things that were allowing me to do that. And as new people walked in, I also got to see when they weren't allowing me to do that. They weren't allowing me to move forward. And so I had to start making difficult choices, because just because we notice these things doesn't mean that we can immediately, it does, we do. We have the opportunity to immediately go, no, this doesn't serve me. You're not allowing me to tap into my highest potential. I'm walking away from this. Or you can come and you can meet me at a place of balance, at a place of acceptance, at a place of understanding. But it took quite a bit to figure that out and to learn how to let people come in and let people come out so quickly after I had just experienced grief of my old life. I ended my relationship, and everything I ever knew with that also left, which was not something I was expecting. But what a beautiful blessing, because I had a whole new life waiting for me, and I had no idea. And I got to make mistakes. I got to connect with people that I'd never connected with before. I got to pick up new hobbies. I tried different areas of work that I'd never tried before. I lived in hostels. I lived in a tent. I eventually bought a van, and I lived out of a van for 2 years. And that in itself was an experience that really, really allowed me to tap into who I was. Being able to drive to a new location every day, to park up and to wake up with the ocean or the forest or a view of whatever it was that I wanted, and to be able to lay in bed and enjoy that view, and to have my ritual and to have my routine. And I most definitely now, in the position that I'm in, can see all the ways in which I took that for granted, which we always do, but we're all learning. And the point of me making this video is to allow you some insight into traveling and what that opens, and finding yourself and making mistakes and all of the things that come with it. And so I do recommend to you, if you have not left your hometown, do it. It doesn't have to be a big move. It doesn't have to be pack all your stuff and leave like I did. It can be a 2-week holiday. But if you can, do it alone. Just go 5 hours away from home. Choose somewhere beautiful. Take your favorite things. And go and see who it is that you want to be, who it is that you are when there's nobody else around you who you know to please. Because when we take ourselves out of a situation that we're so used to, we're able to see it from another perspective. We're able to understand what ways in which we're putting others' needs and wants before our own, which is something I never realized until I left my hometown. I realized just how much I was people pleasing, and still now to this day I'm learning more and more how I people please and how I subconsciously put others' needs before my own without even a lot of the time considering my own. And so with that, I also want to talk about international travel. Now, for those of you watching from Australia, you leave Australia and everything is different. And for those of you watching from Europe, it's a little bit different because you have countries right next door, so to speak, and, you know, Asia, all of these other countries. If you are not Australia, it's very much so different. And being in places where everything is so different, you have different language, you have different culture, you have different education systems, you have different beliefs and religions that are around you. And your perception changes very, very quickly. Your mind opens very, very quickly. And in some ways, it's beautiful and it's so rewarding. And in other ways, it is completely overwhelming and kind of heart-shattering, because a lot of the beliefs that you've built a foundation for are kind of ripped apart because you see things from another perspective, and oh, you have these aha moments, and it is so rewarding. It is so rewarding, because it allows you to really ask yourself questions that you've never asked before. What is it that I believe in? Why do I believe in it? What do I want to believe in? And I think it's so much fun when you are somewhere that's not your home country, when you are surrounded by people who don't know you, and you get to play with different archetypes and different versions of yourself and see what fits, see what feels good, and see what doesn't. You get to listen to your intuition, and you get to go, you know what? This person makes me feel uncomfortable. I don't want to hang out with them. And you don't have to hang out with them. Whereas when you're in your own country, yes, you have that choice, but it's a little bit more difficult to make. Now, with that being said, when you are surrounded by people who don't know you from a bar of soap, it can be also very isolating. For example, I've been overseas for 4 months now. I spent almost 3 months in Germany with a beautiful friend, which was amazing. It was also very challenging, as I was being stripped of all that I believed in, all that I thought that I wanted. My travel wasn't going the way in which I'd envisioned it and planned it to go, and so everything was kind of flipped on its head. Complete tower moment, stripping, sitting in the rubble, watching everything fall, just very confused, very afraid. I then have been in Spain, in Granada, and I am now in Portugal, currently in the Lisbon area. And so for the past nearly 2 months, month and a half, I've been alone. Very alone. And yes, I've met beautiful people, and I've had amazing chats and conversations, and I stayed with a beautiful host family in Spain. But today, in particular, I found myself walking around and admiring the beautiful nature, the plants, the greenery, the buildings, everything, the ocean when I was on the train. And this afternoon, I've just felt this deep sense of loneliness, as I looked at the faces in the streets walking past me, I thought, wow, it would be so nice to see a familiar face. Just somebody that I know from somewhere else. I'm getting emotional thinking about it, and that's okay. And I'm learning to know that that's okay, because I'm learning in the same token that as we feel our emotions, we actually genuinely need to feel them. If I right now turn around and go, oh yeah, but like you shouldn't feel alone, you should feel blessed because you're on the other side of the world and you're traveling in your backpack and you're doing all those things, yeah, I could tell myself that, and that is a reality. But my reality right now, my emotion right now, and what I need to process through, because suppressing leads to explosion and burnout, right now I need to feel that. And I need to feel sad about feeling alone, and I need to accept that, yeah, I am alone, I am doing this on my own. Yeah, I'm powerful, and I am brave, and I am so proud of myself for doing what I'm doing, but I have moments where I feel completely alone and isolated and craving the company of just someone I know. And I want anybody who's watching this who's also a traveler to know that this is entirely normal. And don't beat yourself up for feeling it, because I definitely have in the past, but I'm learning that it's okay. You can love yourself, you can love your own company, and you can also in turn have days where you're just like, wow, it would be nice to have somebody else's company with me. And I think there's a real beauty in that, because I know now that the time I spend with the people I love when I'm given that opportunity again will be so much more heartfelt, will be so much more appreciated than I ever had appreciated it before, and I ever had felt into it before. And so, if you haven't travelled, this is your message: to book a trip. It doesn't have to be expensive. Some hostels are like $10 a night. Book a week, book a weekend even. Just go somewhere on your own and see who you are when it's just you, yourself. I was going to say me, myself, and I, and then try and like put that into like a you, but it doesn't really work. So when it's just you. And if you are a traveler and you are feeling alone, I see you, I hear you, I feel you, and I am here to validate what you're feeling. I'm here to give you a big hug through the camera, and yeah, it's my little bit of a TED talk, I guess. Still, let me know what you would like to see on my channel. I got my YouTube account validated? Verified? I'm pretty sure it's verified. It's done. I can have videos over 20 minutes. I can choose my thumbnails. I have clickable links in my description, and I'm also looking at applying for the YouTube Partner Program. So for those of you who don't know, there are some certain requirements you have to meet, and one of those is to have 2,000 views in the last 365 days. Another is to have 3 videos posted in the last 90 days. And then either 3 million views on shorts, or, this could be wrong, but 3,000 as I look down, 3,000 hours of watch time in the last 365 days, so a year. And I would really appreciate, definitely shameless plugging right now, but I would appreciate majorly if you resonate with my videos, if you like my videos, to like them, to share them, to save them, to comment and interact with them, let your friends know about my channel. Yeah, you get the gist. I would really like to make this more permanent and something that can support me financially while I live the lifestyle of my dreams. So I hope this video helps you. I hope this video validates and comforts and inspires you, as I do with all of my content. I hope you leave feeling better, feeling more equipped, feeling more open-minded than you did when you clicked on the video, than when you entered this space. I love you, and enjoy your week.